In our previous video, we created various object states for the mystery box, Albert, and the fish. Now that we have our states finished, we should go ahead and set triggers that will adjust these states. We're going to need to add several triggers to this page to make it do everything that we want. Let's start with the box, as changing its state is going to be what sets everything else in motion. We want the box to change to state hit when the penguin jumps into it. Select the trigger button and choose Change State Of for the action. Our object is Mystery Box, and we want to set state to hit when the object intersects with the target object. Which object? Albert. Now we need to add a target. What is it that we want Albert to hit in order to trigger this object state change? Well, in this case, that's going to be the mystery box. Alright, let's check it out to see if that works. Launch a preview of this slide. Move Albert over. Jump. And there we have it. The box is now dark gray. We changed its state by having Albert jump into it. Okay, exit preview. Now that we have our box set up correctly, we need to work on the hidden fish. We can still see him on our screen here, but remember, his default state is hidden, so right now he will not show up in the preview mode. Real quick aside, there are multiple ways to set up this animation. We could choose to make the next triggers based on Albert intersecting with the box just like the last trigger. But I'm going to make this trigger based on the state of the box. My reason for doing so is that I want to have more options with this mystery box for later, and perhaps more importantly, because I want to. Okay, back to the triggers. Select the fish and create a trigger. We need to change our fish's state to normal. So we will change state of fish, then we'll set state to normal when the state of mystery box is hit. Now, we don't just want the fish to appear, then it would be just laying on top of the box out of reach from our flightless feathered friend. Previously, we had made a trigger so that when we push the F key, the fish would move on the motion path we already made. Let's edit that trigger. You can edit an existing trigger a few ways. You can select the trigger you want to change and click the Edit Trigger button, or you can select each of the blue editable regions in the trigger panel to change them, which is great if you just need to make a small adjustment. Or you can double-click on the trigger. Just don't click on any of the blue parts. Alright, open the trigger that moves fish along flop motion path. We're going to select User Presses and change that to State Of. Notice that it clears out everything below that in the When area because it's now irrelevant. In the Object drop-down box, choose the Mystery Box and Is Hit. Let's go into a preview mode and see how this works. We should be able to move Albert to underneath the box and jump to change the mystery box to gray, make the fish appear, and have the fish flop around. And it does exactly that. Alright, now it's your turn. I want you to create two triggers for what happens when Albert catches the fish. We want the fish to disappear and for Albert to become Big Albert by changing his state to embiggen. Pause the video while you work and come back here when you're ready to see how I did it. Welcome back. As most of you probably figured out, our triggers needed to be when fish intersects with Albert, set state of fish to hidden, and when fish intersects with Albert, set state of Albert to embiggen. Now fish and Albert are interchangeable here. As long as you had them as the two intersecting objects, it should work. Let's check this out in preview mode. Alright, Albert moves. He jumps, the fish appears, starts flopping around, Albert catches the fish disappears, and Albert grows. This is working perfectly.